Hi everyone, it's Nell with Little Yellow House Crafts, and I am back for a long overdue cross stitch update, but I wanted to take a minute here at the beginning to show you all James. This is Jaime. He is almost 5 months. He'll be 5 months old on September 3rd, and today is August 30th, 29th. I don't know what day it is. It's Wednesday, it's the end of August. And this little guy will be 5 months old very, very soon. He is, as you can see, an absolute chunk. But believe it or not, he's actually my smallest. My two big boys were even chubbier, if you can believe it. And yes, we're obsessed with his cheeks. Oh, what do you see? Do you see that? What is that? He's watching the screen, totally fascinated. But he remains a sweet and easygoing little guy. He loves to watch his brothers play. He's cooing and talking to us and a rolling maniac. I'll put him down on the floor and walk away and come back 2 minutes later and he'll be all the way on the other side of the room because he's just rolled all the way over across the room. So he's keeping us on our toes, but he's a very good boy. He's so sweet and happy. He's still a very good breastfeeder, obviously. Look at these cheeks. Can you say hello? It's time for you to take a nap. So I am going to go put this one down for a nap, and then I will be back, and we will do our update. What? What'd you say? What did you say? Oh, drool. He's also probably going to be teething very soon, so he's a drooling fiend. Huh, slobber monster. All right, say bye. I'm gonna go take a nap. Catch y'all later. I'll be right back. Oh, burp. Burp on camera just for you guys. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So yes, we're still obsessed with him. We love him to death, and he's a very sweet baby. He's my sweetie. Okay, let's talk about some stitching. I have a lot of stuff all around me because it's been a little while. First, let's talk about the fair. The fair is over, and if you follow me on Instagram, then this will not be news to you, but I got my results back from the 8 pieces I entered at the fair. Of the 8 pieces I entered, 7 won some sort of ribbon, and I'm not going to go through them all because you saw all my pieces before I entered them, but I've got all these ribbons right here. And this purple one was a total surprise. So when I entered the pieces, I entered 8 pieces in 8 different classes in the cross stitch division of Household Arts. And like I said, I knew that 7 of those 8 pieces had ribboned within a couple of days of the fair opening. They posted the results online. So even though I hadn't been to the fair yet, I knew that I had gotten some ribbons, and I knew which ribbons I had gotten and which pieces had won which. So I got 3 third place ribbons, I got 3 second place red ribbons, and I got 1 first place. What they didn't post online, or at least not that I saw, was within each division in Household Arts, they also award a special ribbon, which is basically like the top scoring item within that division wins an additional ribbon, which is a purple rosette, and they call it the special best of division. And I won it. I had no idea. All I knew were these. And the one that won first place was this one, was the one that won the purple ribbon. And so I knew about all of these, and we showed up at the state fair a couple weekends ago and walked into the Household Arts building, and lo and behold, right in front of me in this big, beautiful display case, along with all the other special best of division winners, was one of my pieces, and it was Henry's Christmas stocking, which took first in its class and then won the special best of division for counted cross stitch. I was totally shocked and pleased as punch and couldn't believe it. So yes, I guess you could say that this first state fair experience was a very positive one. I was really, really pleased. I do want to say something, and I'm afraid it's going to come off as falsely modest, and I don't want that to be the case. So let me just preface this by saying that I do think that my pieces are good. Okay, I think I'm a very good stitcher. Obviously, I didn't enter anything that I didn't think was a good piece and that I was hopeful would win some sort of ribbon. But some of these ribbons feel a little bit like participation ribbons because, for example, one of the pieces I entered that took third place in its class, there were only 3 pieces entered in its class. So I took third out of 3. So, you know, it looks very impressive. And I know that my pieces are good. I don't want to sound falsely modest, but it just reiterated to me the same thing that so many other stitchers have been saying who are big about entering the state fair. We need more stitchers to enter their pieces. I should not take third out of 3 just because there was no one else who entered. I really want to feel like I earned my ribbons. Does that make sense? And please don't think I'm being falsely modest. I'm really not. I really encourage you. It was so much fun. And the ribbons are great and the prizes are great. But what was even more fun was just the excitement of going to the fair and dropping my pieces off and waiting to see how I did. And then going to the fair and getting to see all these beautiful pieces of art that people had submitted in all sorts of different divisions. So that was where the real fun of the fair was for me. I mean, these ribbons are great, and this purple one especially is a very special thing, but I really wish more people had entered. I probably would not have gotten as many ribbons if more people had entered. Does that make sense? So, I mean, this is great, but guys, enter your fairs. Enter your county fair, enter your state fair. If you live in Missouri, please enter our state fair so that we all feel like we've actually like it's a competition, like it's really means something. Does that make sense? Anyway, that probably sounds really awful because I won all these beautiful ribbons and that sounds really, I don't want to sound braggy and I don't want to sound like I'm putting myself down, but I don't know, some of these ribbons, when there were only 3 pieces in a class, yeah, it's cool that I got second place out of 3. You know, if there had been more entered, I probably wouldn't have gotten as many ribbons. But this one is very special, and I'm very pleased. And I'm especially pleased that this was given to Henry's Christmas stocking, because now, as he grows up, I can tell him that his stocking won the best cross-stitch in Missouri one year. Another great thing about entering the fair, at least I think it's great. I don't know if everyone thinks it's great, but they gave me my rubrics. These are their scoring sheets. So I got to go through and they scored things out of 100 and I could see what my scores were, but then they also gave comments on each and every piece, which I actually really liked. I know some people don't like that. Some people don't want their work to be graded or have people comment on it, and that's absolutely fine. If you don't like that, then I reiterate what, who was it? Someone said this. I can't remember which floss tuber it was. I'm so sorry. Someone said, if you don't like this, when you go to pick up your stuff, just throw it in the trash. Don't even take it home with you. Then you'll never know what they said about your pieces. But I really liked having these comments. It was nice to have some constructive criticism. But yeah, all of my pieces did reasonably well. You know, I think my lowest, yeah, this one was my lowest. I got 90 out of 100 on this one, which was I think this was my pillow. Oh no, this was Peace and Plenty, my small framed piece. So, you know, all of my pieces were graded at an A or an A minus. But it was really fun to get to read the judges' comments and what they thought. My piece, the stocking that took the special best in division, got a 99 out of 100. And they took 1 point off for originality of item, because a cross-stitch stocking made from a dimensions kit is not particularly original. So I agree with that. I agree with that judgment there. So they gave me 99 out of 100. Everything else, they scored me full points. And so that's my scorecards, the Needle Art scorecards. So I'm going to save these. I'm going to throw them in the box with my ribbons that I get each year, so that I can look back and see what they said about my pieces. So that was really fun too. You know, this is a hobby where most of us kind of stitch in isolation. Some of you are lucky enough to live with other stitchers and meet up together regularly. I am not. I've never really stitched with anyone in real life. And I don't have a local needle workshop that's close enough for me to really have, you know, constructive criticism of my pieces from anywhere else. And so since I kind of stitch in isolation, it's really nice to have some judges who don't know me, don't know who I am, don't know that I do floss tube or anything, take a look at my work and kind of give me their opinion. I really liked that. So yay, fair was great. Other than that, life continues. My boys are in school. My 2 older boys have started preschool, so they are off at school right now, and baby is napping. So let's talk about cross stitch. I have one almost FFO. By the way, that was probably the best thing about the fair, is that it forced me to fully finish some of my work, and that made the whole experience worth it. That those 8 pieces are no longer just sitting in a tub. I mean, the stocking was already done, but the rest of them were not, and I fully finished them for the fair. So if you're needing motivation to fully finish stuff, enter your fair. This is a piece that I showed you and I was gonna fully finish, and right now I've got it mounted on its mat board, and it's got some batting behind it. This is Red, White, and Bloom by Country Cottage Needleworks, and I finished this a couple summers ago. And I found this beautiful hammered aluminum tray at our local antique mall that I've talked about before. And it's just the most perfect size to fit this. I mean, can you just... Let's just take a moment and appreciate the finding of this tray that looks like it was meant to fit this piece. It's just so cute. So it is almost done. All I have left to do is put the magnets on this so that it attaches to the tray. And then I tore some strips of this blue quilting cotton. So they have a nice kind of frayed rough edge. And I'm going to pull a Priscilla, just throw those over my shoulder. I'm going to pull a Priscilla and I'm going to ruffle them or pleat it somehow. We're gonna see how this works. I'm gonna kind of ruffle it and glue it around the back edge of this whole piece so that when it sits in the tray, there's the blue ruffle kind of going around it. So it's not technically a fully finished object yet because I haven't actually done it, but it's awfully close, and I'm probably gonna finish it this week, and then I'm sure I'm gonna forget to show it to you next time. So that is my one almost FFO. So that's that. And then as far as finished pieces, I have a lot. I've been stitching a lot. First one is my July cottage. Finally got that done. I did get it done before August, but barely. So this is another piece by Country Cottage Needleworks. This is the July cottage from the Cottages of the Month series. And I finished July. And again, as I'm doing with all of these cottages, I am choosing my own threads mostly from my Victorian Motto sampler threads collection and stitching that. I do not have them pulled out anymore, so I cannot tell you what colors they were. If there's a color that you're absolutely desperate to know what color it was, send me a message either on YouTube or through Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Facebook Messenger, and I will try and go dig through my threads and figure it out. But that is July. I loved how that one turned out. July is a special month to me. It has my favorite holiday, which is the 4th of July, Independence Day, and it's also the month of my birthday. So I had my birthday at the end of July. I am now 32. Happy birthday to me. But that was my July cottage, so I got that done. And then I promptly not gave up. I'm taking a break from my monthly cottages and my monthly Joyful World Sal pieces. I was just burnt out on them. I got halfway through the year, I got January through June done in both series, all the way keeping up every month, and then I finished my July cottage and I was done. I did go ahead and pull the threads for July of the Joyful World Sal by the Snowflower Diaries, and I think I showed them to you in the last video, but I have not started that yet. And I'm taking a little break because I wanted to work on other things, because I wanted to get some more whips finished. I am in like a finishing frenzy. I just want some of my whips done, and you know, you guys know I try not to ever have more than like 20 whips going, and after Stitch Mania happened, I had a lot. I think I had over 20, and so I'm trying to pare that back down a little bit. I want to get it to 16 or less is my goal, maybe 15, but we'll see. So I have another one that I finished. This was another this was a Stitch Mania start, and this is Brave Hearts by Little House Needleworks. When I was in the throes of my patriotic stitching, and I'll show you the finished piece first. This was stitched on Summer Khaki, I believe 32 count Summer Khaki by Zweigart. It's a linen, and it turned out really beautiful. I stitched this using Classic Colorworks cottons, not the Belle Soie silks that it calls for. I just went through my collection and found some cottons that I thought looked good. I think this blue is blacksmith blue something, or maybe it's blue corn. I can't remember. I know the red is bandana. It's a really beautiful deep red that kind of transitions into burgundy and then back to red. It's really pretty. But I will say, I started with full, complete skeins of Classic Colorworks, and I only needed one skein of each color, but this brown that all the lettering is done in, and the roof of the house, and the couple other places, the head and the legs of this sheep, I ran out. Okay, I'm going to show you what I did. This is all I have left of cocoa bean. This is 2 strands of cotton, because that's what I was stitching with, and there's maybe only 8 inches left of it, if that, maybe 7 inches. I ran out. So I had to make an adjustment in the chart. And what I did is I got to about here, to the word where. Blue for the deep where, and I realized, oh my goodness, I'm getting really low on cocoa bean. What else do I need to stitch with it? And I knew it was these 2 lines and then the sheep. So what I did is I left out the words love and heroes, because I thought if I run out, I can change the color of those 2 words to something else and it'll still look good. So I left those words out, and then I came down here and I did the sheep, because I wanted to make sure I had enough of cocoa bean to finish the sheep, because the head and the legs of the sheep couldn't be green or blue or red, right? So I came down and finished the sheep, and then I still had enough, so I went ahead and finished the word heroes, and that's when I ran out of cocoa bean. I only had 8 inches left, and it was not enough to do the word love, so love is in red. That is how close to the wire I got on that color, that I had to change the words, or change the color of the word love in order to get to the end. And please bear in mind, I stitched this on 32 count. The called for fabric is 28 count. If I had stitched this on 28 count, there is no way I would have had enough thread. Now it's not Little House Needleworks' fault, because they call for you to use Belle Soie, and I think, yeah, they call for you to use Belle Soie using 2 strands over 2 threads. I don't know if Belle Soie comes with more length than a strand of Classic Colorworks cotton, but and I'm not a wasteful thread user. I'm pretty stingy with my floss, and I still, on 32 count, a smaller count than is called for, ran out of cocoa bean. So if you are stitching this, make sure whatever color you use for this brown for the lettering, make sure you have 2 skeins of it just in case, and then you won't have to. I mean, I kind of like that I changed the word love to red. I think it actually looks really pretty, but then if you don't want to do that, you won't have to. I did it because I absolutely had to. I had no other choice. But anyway, so that's that. It's done. It's beautiful. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to FFO that. Probably I'll wait for inspiration to strike at the antique mall, likely, because that's where, or Hobby Lobby. That's where I go for creative juices to flow. Another one that I'm really excited to have finished, and I know quite a few of you who have started this one. Some of you because you saw me working on it, and I'm just thrilled that so many people are doing this, but this is the Lizzie Kate Less is More series. There are 4 charts in this series. You can stitch them individually, or you can do the big one, which is what I did with the free border chart you can find online at Lizzie Kate's website, and I finished it. I just decided, I finished those other 2 pieces, and I decided I want to get more stuff finished. So, at long last, here is my Lizzie Kate Less is More piece. It is so pretty. The colors in this these colors are so beautiful. I'm absolutely crazy about it. You can see I've added the charms. There's a few little charms. There's one up here, little heart charms. And then there's some beads. There's beads in the middle of those flowers. There's beads in this little motif right here in the very, you can see them, there they are. So there's beads throughout. There's a charm right there again, little heart charm. So try and get it all in frame. It's there. And I did the border chart from Lizzie Kate's website, and I just think it's beautiful. I absolutely love this. I stitched this again on 32 count Belfast linen. That is my linen of choice by Zweigart. And the color of this is cream. So 32 count cream linen. And someone messaged me and asked me specifically what color because they liked how it looked. I think it might be the called for linen. Nope, it's not. They call for 28 count lamb's wool, at least for the individual ones. Maybe they call for something else. No. Okay. In the called for fabric to do it all in one is a 32 count, but it's lamb's wool linen by Witchelt. I don't like Witchelt linen, so I changed it to Zweigart linen in the color cream, and I think it looks beautiful. So that's an exciting one. That one is now done and gonna be FFO'd eventually. I will probably finish that. I'll either have it framed or I will finish that, you know, the way a lot of people have been finishing long pieces inspired by Priscilla, like on a shutter or something. Three more FOs, not FFOs. 3 more finished pieces. Okay, you guys know I'm on like a finishing kick. I, at long last, pulled out my Advent Animals by Brooks Books. I have had these sitting for like a year and a half and had just come to a standstill. I had finished up through number 20. I only had 5 more to do and I completely petered out on it. I just got burnt out on stitching them, and so they've been sitting and there's only 5 left. So I pulled it out and I went gangbusters on this. They're not done yet, but we're getting awfully close. So I finished number 21, who is Ethan Elephant. And I haven't ironed him yet, so you can see a hoop mark. Sorry. I actually started, this one I started on my hoop, and then you can see the little holes. I actually transferred it to my roll-a-frame, and I really liked working these on my very tiniest roll-a-frame, so I'll keep doing that. But that's Ethan Elephant. And as a review, I haven't talked about these in a long time. I have been stitching these on 32 count Zweigart linen, Belfast linen, in the color Blue Spruce. And I also changed the border. These were originally charted to be a back-stitched border in red and white, and I changed it to be a cross-stitch border, 2 stitches across, because I just wanted a little bit more of a bold border. So that's number 21, Ethan Elephant. This one is a new favorite because she's so cute. This is number 22. This is Ping Panda with her little wreath of holly on her head and her candles, and she's in her little Christmas dress with a bow. She's just adorable. So this is Ping Panda. And then I finished number 23. This is Alistair Alligator. He's awfully cool, snowboarding alligator. I did change one thing on here. I did not do the back stitching around his snowboard. I didn't feel like it needed it. I think Brooke originally had back stitching there because she stitched them, at least the model was stitched on a very light blue fabric instead of a dark blue, so it was harder to see the blue and white. So I think that's why she back stitched it. I didn't feel like it needed it, and I felt like it made it look a little too cartoony to have the snowboard back stitched, so I left it unback stitched. And he's pretty cute. And those were all of my finished pieces. I am still working on my Advent Animals. In fact, I'm going to show you that now, I think, is the next thing on my list. Sorry, let me check my notes. Yeah, so those were all my finished pieces. July Cottage, Brave Hearts. My Less is More series is completely done, so I finished the last 2 charts on that. And then, or the last 1 chart. I had 1 chart left. I apologize. I had 1 chart left on that one. And then 3 of my Advent Animals. So I had 6 finishes in the last month and a half, which is really, really great. So let's talk about whips. going right along. I am on 24 now, which is Deborah Donkey, and she's adorable too. This is 24, which is Christmas Eve, so they have, I'm assuming, Brooke put a star, the Christmas star, because this is the Christmas Eve Advent animal, and I just have a small start. She looks kind of creepy. This is Deborah Donkey, as far as I've gotten, so I've just gotten her mane and then a little bit of her face done, and it's not filled in yet, so it does look a little bit scary. She looks like... you guys, I grew up with the movie Bedknobs and Broomsticks with Angela Lansbury. Did anyone else know that movie? I tried to show it to my husband once and he thought it was the weirdest movie he'd ever seen. I love Bedknobs and Broomsticks. And you know at the end when she makes all the suits of armor come to life? This is what all of the horses look like that don't actually have any actual horse inside. It's just the horse's armor. So they have these big like face shields with big openings for their eyes, and it's kind of creepy. That's what Deborah Donkey looks like to me right now. You guys don't even know what I'm talking about. Or maybe you do. Maybe you have as deep an appreciation for Bedknobs and Broomsticks as I do. But she will be super cute when she's done. If you don't know about this series, this is a free series. Oh, that's the chart. This is a free series that's available on Brooke's Books website, Brooke Nolan. It is brooksbooks.com. Put it up right there. There it is. brooksbooks.com. She's also on Etsy, but all of her freebies are on her website. And if you go to her website and look at the free charts, all 25 of these Advent animals are available for free. You can stitch them from your computer or you can print them out as I did. I prefer to work from a hard copy usually. But that is Deborah Donkey, and this is my very tiny little roll of frame that I've been stitching them on. It works great. So that is my first whip. The only other whip I have was another Stitch Mania start that I pulled back out and wanted to get some more done on, and that is Lizzie Kate Let Them Be Small. And the reason I stopped working on this is because I have to make a decision. When I started this, I wanted to use some of my Dinky Dye silks. I bought a couple of Oops packs off of Etsy of the Dinky Dye silks, and I wanted to use some of them for this. And I love working with them. But I came quickly to the realization that this brown, the color I had chosen for that is Mud Flats, and there is no way that I have enough of this to get all the way through this project. I'm only to here. And it's very obvious that I will not have enough Mud Flats. Now, Abby, Bella Stitch, she was super sweet and she offered to send me some of her Mud Flats, but I'm kind of worried it's not going to be the same dye lot, and I don't want to, I mean, I could buy it from her, but I think she was offering to send it to me, and I really don't want to take it from her if it's not the same dye lot, because then I'm not going to be able to use it anyway, and so I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do. And it may be that I end up unpicking all of these words and starting the words over in a different color, a different thread. It probably won't be a silk. It'll probably be one of my cottons, one of my Victorian Motto cottons, which is fine. It doesn't all have to be in silk, but there's this part of me that really wants it all to be in silk because I'm doing all of the other colors in silk. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So anyway, or I could just order a skein of Mud Flats Dinky Dyes, like an actual skein, not an Oops pack skein, and start over with Mud Flats, just have more of it. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? I'm stitching this on, I think this is Legacy. Is this Legacy by Picture This Plus? Yes, 32 count Legacy from Picture This Plus. This is very modeled for me. This is probably the most intense I will ever go with modeling, but I do like it. I do like how it looks, so I'm going to continue on even though it's like this dark splotch right here is like, it gives me anxiety when I look at it for too long. I think it'll be better when I have all of it filled in and so the fabric is not drawing as much attention. But I do like it. I like how it looks. So that's my other whip that I've been working on is Let Them Be Small. That is all of my stitching of late. Lots of things finished. I am just really feeling super motivated to get some stuff done. One other project I did is not really a whip, but I had to reorganize my threads because back in July, Nancy from the Victorian Motto Sampler Shop, who I get her threads every month, She holds, for the first 15 days of July, she has what she calls Christmas in July, or the first week in July, excuse me, it's the first 7 days, where every day she has a giveaway of something from her shop. And she's so generous. She is generous to a fault, guys, if you only knew. And she's been going through, I think, some big challenges right now, and she's still just the most generous, warm, kind-hearted person. I've never met her in real life, but we've communicated a lot back and forth, and I'm just always impressed with her kindness and her generosity, and anyway, she's wonderful. So she had a giveaway every day for the first 7 days of July, and I entered all of her giveaways because I love her stuff, obviously, and I won one of them. Of the thousands of people who follow her and enter her giveaways, I won something. I couldn't believe it, and it was a big something. I won her primitive floss collection. And I posted a picture of it on Instagram, so you can check it out there. It was 30 skeins of her thread, which are all 20 yards each. So that's a lot. That's 600 yards of thread in 30 colors that she dyed herself that are all kind of in the primitive range. And they're just beautiful. But I ran into a problem because I've been storing my floss in my Snapware tubs, which I really like using. And I had 6 of them. And by the time I won the giveaway, they were already getting pretty full. And then I won those 30 additional skeins, and there was just no way. They were not going to fit in those 6 tubs anymore. So I hopped on Amazon, and I ordered more Snapware tubs. This is there it is. You can see right there. It's hard to read it. Snapware. That's what they're called. And I ordered more of these tubs on Amazon. They have them on Amazon. They sell them at Joann's. I know they sell them at Joann's. They might sell them at Michael's and Hobby Lobby too. I'm not sure. But I got my first bunch at Joann's when they were on clearance from their holiday stuff. And then I got these on Amazon. And they are also the holiday edition. They're like green and red. Who cares though? And so I now have 2 stacks of 6. Okay. And you can already see I had to further subdivide my colors. Before I had reds and oranges together and yellows and greens together. I had to further subdivide because I had too many. So now they're divided as such. I have reds, oranges, yellows, light, bright, vivid greens, and then more primitive or muted greens. Greens are the color that I actually have the most threads. So I had to divide them by like brights and then muted primitive shades. Then I have aquas and teals and turquoises. And then I have blues. They're dusty. I have purples, pinks, peaches, and salmons. This is browns, like brown. And then this is all like golds and bronze and kind of warm browns, if that makes sense. Anyway, it makes sense to me. Whites and creams, and then grays and blacks. Various shades of gray. And I also have my other over-dyed cottons. All of my over-dyed cottons are now in here. Whether they've been previously bobbinated, I just have them in a baggie now. These are all of my over-dyed cottons. And then I also have the ones that haven't been bobbinated, whether they're Gentle Arts or Victorian Motto or whatever they may be. Classic Color Works, Weeks Dye Works. They're all in these tubs. And they're sorted by color family. Because when I know swapping out colors stresses some people out. I love it. I love choosing my own colors. And I don't pay much attention to the direct, what's the word? The direct conversion, that's the word. I don't try to directly convert. I just pick, if I know I need a lighter green and a darker green and a blue and a yellow, I just go in my threads and I play until I find what looks like the right shades, the right tones, that they look good together and they look good on the fabric, and I go for it. I don't really think about it too hard. So if you've never done that, try it. It's really fun. And if you collect threads, whether from Nancy or maybe you're in Trisha at 3L Threads, maybe you're in one of her nest egg clubs. If you've got all these beautiful threads, you may as well be using them. So try it, convert something, and don't stress too much about direct conversions. Just go with your gut, look at the colors and say, okay, I need a brighter, more buttery yellow. Let's see what I have that'll work. It's really fun, okay? So I did that. I reorganized my threads. I had to reorganize my whips too. They were just getting out of control in all of their plastic Ziploc bags. So I ordered some of those plastic mesh zipper bags that a lot of people use. And I moved all of my whips into there, and it's so much more organized in my whip bin now. I love those. I don't like to store whips that are like in storage that I'm not actively working on in a fabric project bag, because it's hard. I can't tell what's in my bag because I don't use vinyl. That makes me nervous with fabric. I know it's probably fine, but storing things long term against vinyl just feels icky. So my project bags that I make are not, they don't have a clear panel, and I can't tell what's in them. And I don't want to be like unzipping every single one to find what I need. So that's what I do with my whips that are in like long-term storage. My whips that I'm actively working on, I keep in project bags, in fabric project bags. But anyway. Okay, what's next? Stash. I don't really have any stash. Well, I do have some stash. I don't have any patterns. Oh, baby's fussing. We're going to try and get through this quickly, just in case he really wakes up. I have my monthly subscription from Nancy. I changed my subscription. Before I was getting the 12 threads from her regular floss club, and starting in August, I was just getting so many of her threads. I don't need that many. And so I switched it to get 6 of her primitive threads. And so these were the threads for August. And they're very pretty and definitely much more primitive than the ones I was getting before, which I love. Very beautiful pastels. I love this kind of coppery orange. This is Golden Earth. Oh, pretty name. Anyway, very beautiful. Also this really pale kind of lilac pink. 1890s ribbon. She's so creative with her names. Anyway, so I got those 6 threads, and instead of getting 12 of her threads, I now get 6 of her threads and 1 of her pieces of fabric, because her fabric is beautiful. I told her I wanted neutral, so she's not going to send me any crazy colors, but the first one she sent me is this beautiful pale lavender. Look at the beautiful subtle modeling on this fabric. This is why I love Nancy's fabric. Because it's definitely hand-dyed and modeled, but it is so subtle. It reminds me of Lakeside Linens, honestly, guys. Give Nancy's fabric a try. She uses Zweigart linen, so it's beautiful linen, and she does such a beautiful, subtle job. And so what I arranged with her is that every month I will get 1 fat quarter of linen, and it's going to alternate between 32 count and 40 count, because those are my 2 favorite counts of linen to work on. 32 count, I use 2 strands, and on 40 count, I use 1 strand. I don't like 28 and 36 as much because they don't have as good of coverage, if that makes sense. So I still will stitch on them occasionally, but they're not my favorite. So this is a 32 count fat quarter in this beautiful, she doesn't name her fabrics, but it's this beautiful pale lavender. Couldn't you just see this being the most gorgeous spring piece? Oh, so pretty. And then in September, I'm presuming I will get a fat quarter of 40 count in another kind of neutral color. So that was that. The last thing I got on Amazon, I got some Amazon gift cards. I participated in a research study, which was actually really fun. I had never done that before. And as an incentive, because it took a lot of time, I had to do several long, like hour-long phone interviews, and I had to fill out this enormous packet of materials they sent me. And so as an incentive to participate, they gave you Amazon gift cards. And I didn't know what to spend them on, but then I decided to get myself some scissors. None of these are fancy. They were all less than $10. They're all from China, but they're all pretty and they're all very, very sharp. So I'm very pleased. I got this pretty silver pair. Because guys, I've been working with the same 1 pair of Ginger embroidery scissors for the last 10 years, and they're getting kind of dull. So I need to send them back in to Ginger to get serviced and sharpened, but it can take up to 4 weeks for them to come back, which means I would be 4 weeks without any embroidery scissors. So that was my justification. These pretty black and gold ones, these look very Victorian. So pretty. They're very sharp, and they're nice and like weighty, heavy. They're from China, but they're really nice. And this one's slightly bigger. These are these copper swirly ones. So I got some new scissors. That was fun. I've never really bought myself scissors before since that first pair of Gingers, so that was nice. This is not really haul because I made these myself, but I started making some floss tags. They're white on the back, and then they're pretty paper on the front. Just show you. It's got some gold. It's like green and gold. These are just made out of scrapbook paper and cardstock that I glue together with a spray adhesive. And then I punch the tag out and I punch the 2 holes, the little one for floss ring and the big one for the thread. And they're beautiful. I've started putting some of my threads on them and I really like them. They're really pretty. So I may end up putting some of those up in my Facebook shop when I'm getting ready to do another bag sale, which is coming up. Can you believe it? The last thing I want to talk about that's stashed that I did not purchase. I was contacted by this sweet lady. Her name is Leah. I don't have her information. What did I do with that? Leah's Cross Stitch. She's on Etsy. She has a shop on Etsy called Happy Cross Stitch. And she asked if she could send me a pattern. And I got to go on her Etsy shop and choose one. And this is, sorry, he's fussing. He's okay. I will go get him as soon as we're done. This is Home Sweet Home. And like I said, I'm not being paid to say anything. I'm pretty impressed. Her pattern is very easy to read. It's beautifully done. She gives you a big pattern as well as a smaller one where it's all in. I'm going to hold it way back. This is the smaller one where it's all on one sheet. And then the bigger one is broken up, but so that you can see up close when you're working on stuff, but you can also see the overall picture. I think that's great. She has an information page on how to cross stitch if someone's a beginner. She has lots of really cute ones. I would describe her style as kind of a very bright contemporary style. She reminds me of, Stitchrovia. She reminds me of Satsuma Street. Kind of that style, tiny modernist. So more contemporary, brightly colored, and I just think this is really sweet. This would be such a cute, like, housewarming gift for someone who's moved into a new home. So give her a look. Her website is www.happycrossstitch.com. I know she has an Etsy shop called Leia's Patterns, Leia, Leia. And I wish I could. I don't remember what I did with the actual information card. I apologize. But give her a look if you're looking for something like that. So I think that's everything I have for you, and I need to tend to my fussing baby. But really quickly, plans, finishing my Advent animals, gonna get those done, those last 2. And then I can work on finishing them because I'm entering that piece in the state fair next year. I'm gonna keep sewing bags. If you are not a member of my Facebook group, Little Yellow House Crafts, go and request to join. I will be putting up a bag sale, guys. I haven't done one in like a year, but I'm finally at a point in my life where I feel like I can do that. I may put some floss tag sets up for really, I mean, they're not expensive to make, so they'll probably be like $2 or $3 for a pack of 24 or something. So if you like that, there may be some there if I feel like making more. I don't know. And then last thing I wanted to do, I love Teresa at Kitten Stitcher. I love her little segment she does on her videos of things I'm all into. So I thought really quickly, here's some things that Nell's into right now. I'm currently in the process of trying to lose baby weight, and it's working. I've lost about 8 pounds so far. Yay me. But I'm just, counting my calories and tracking my exercise and stuff like that. And they sell this at Aldi, Moser Roth. It's their fancy chocolate, and they have this dark sea salt. Oh my goodness. If you like dark chocolate, if you like sweet and salty, and you have an Aldi near you, try this right now. One big rectangle square of these is 140 calories. It's the perfect little afternoon snack that feels really indulgent and naughty, but it's not actually that bad. It's only 140 calories, and it's delicious. I'm absolutely obsessed. So there's that. I found a new shampoo and conditioner at Walmart. This is the Quate Walmart cheap brand of the OGX brand of shampoo, and this is Tea Tree Mint. This smells like herby, herby, minty tea tree. Oh, it is the most refreshing, wonderful minty scent, and it feels minty on your scalp. It is so glorious in the morning when you're tired and you just need to wake up, and you get in the shower and you start washing your hair with this, and it's like and it clears your nasal passage. It feels so good, and the conditioner is the same way. So give that a try. Sorry, I'm rushing because baby's crying. Last thing I'm all into is I have joined a community choir just for this fall, and we are doing Handel's Messiah. I'm just in the chorus. We've had one rehearsal so far. We rehearse every week, and we're singing a big chunk of this. We're going to be singing about, I think it's about 80 minutes of music, 80 to 90 minutes, almost 2 hours of music, and we're having professional soloists coming in to do all the solos, and I love singing in choirs. I don't get to do it enough, and I love Handel's Messiah. This is the second time I've sung Messiah in a choir. It's been a number of years, but I'm really excited to be doing it again. So those are things I'm all into right now. Dark chocolate with sea salt, minty shampoo, and Handel's Messiah. So thank you, Teresa, for the inspiration for that little bit. I'm going to go, guys. I apologize that baby's fussing. If that stresses you out, he is fine. He just needs me to go in and give him his pacifier. So take care, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful stitchy day, and I'll catch you next time. Okay? Bye.